Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. Today I have Bob with me. Bob is a retired U.S. serviceman, and he's also going to school on the GI Bill and doing all that fun stuff with school, and also trying to do something other than the schooling. So without further ado, I'm going to Mr. Bob. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Wynn. So as Wynn said, I'm Rob Gilbert. I did 10 years in the Coast Guard, so that got me into college, using my GI Bill now that I'm in my 30s going to college, but it's a good time. Make something of myself finally. I guess Wynn has me on because of my podcast. Me and my friends do, The Crow Show, where we basically just talk current events, gaming, whatever we feel like talking about that week. And just a lot of fun with it. You know, it's highly opinionated, a lot of jokes. Just we've all been friends for years, so it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk to you more about why you started your podcast. And so why did you start the podcasting bug?
Basically, it came from me and Veracity Trigger, who's Frank on the show, and he hosts it on his YouTube page, the Veracity Trigger channel. We both used to do a lot of YouTube stuff with video games back in our early 20s, years ago. A lot of YouTube videos, gaming things, and we found that a lot of people really liked listening to the conversations when we had 4 or 5 people in a party and we were just talking while we played. So we decided that, over the years, we just decided podcast is the way to do it. People are enjoying our conversations, so let's focus on that.
And were you getting any traction on the YouTube side when you were doing it? Because let me tell you something. I tried to do this podcast on YouTube and make myself a YouTube star, but then I had a fan say to me, "Lily, I can't download the audio and listen to it while I'm multitasking." So I said, oops, there goes my YouTube. And so we tried YouTube for about a good year, I would say. And so I'm asking you, were you getting any traction on the YouTube side? Or now are you finding that you're getting more traction on the podcasting side?
Honestly, I have a Pinecast page, but I haven't gotten around to actually uploading the podcast for download. So as of right now, we're just on the YouTube side. But we've only been doing the show itself, like as The Crow Show, since I think November we started, either October or November.
Okay.
So we're still pretty new.
You need to upload that podcast and get it out there because people don't have time to sit and watch YouTube. I'm sorry to all the YouTubers out there, including Rob, that want traction on their YouTube channels, but people have more time to listen to podcasts than they do YouTube.
It's very true. We have been getting better views than when we started. It has been going up, but yeah, we're working on getting it all on the Pinecast side so that way we can get it on iTunes and Google Play and whatnot.
Okay. And for anyone who's interested in my help, this is including Rob, I can help you guys set that up if you guys want, because it's very daunting when you start a podcast, and it's very daunting getting it to YouTube, getting it into Stitcher, getting it all over the place. So I can help anyone that needs it. Just reach out to me, and then I'll be happy to see what I can do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the offer. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, doing a podcast. I thought it was going to be a lot more just sitting around yelling at the internet.
Yes. Nope, it, you have to put a lot more work into it. but you will
Oh,
see effort pay off. So that being said, what is your favorite podcast if you have one?
Out of the few that I listen to, I'd say Surreal Talk is probably one of my favorites. They cover a lot of the paranormal and conspiracy theories. It's real interesting to listen to while I'm commuting.
I have not heard of that one yet. So you say
I found them through the Potter family on.
Oh, geez.
Sorry?
You probably found me through the Potter family too on Twitter. Geez.
Oh yeah.
That is
I love that group.
That's the biggest hashtag known to man on Twitter and for podcasts and for finding podcasts. So, Bob, what is your favorite business book? And it doesn't have to be a business book, but it has to be a book that you go back to time and time again.
Honestly, I haven't read a lot of business books. I would say favorite book would have to be The Regulators by Stephen King. I think he actually wrote it under Richard Bachman as a pen name, but it's a really imaginative,
Stephen
crazy
King.
book.
Stephen
Oh
King.
yeah, Stephen.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And
I read a lot. I used to read a lot of horror.
What are you studying in school, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I am going to school for business right now. I'm one semester away from my associates and then moving on to finish my bachelor's.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. And I know it's a tough go when you're in your studies and going back to school. I'm actually going back to school myself for my journalism degree in the fall. And so I know that's a tough go. People think it's easier when you're an adult and going back to school. Nope.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I wish I could have done it when I was younger.
Yep, but at least you're doing it now. And so, what has been your biggest lesson you have learned?
I would say my biggest life lesson is that you have to work for everything. I mean, I've had one of those lives where I have had to just strive and struggle to finish anything that I want to accomplish. Nothing's ever handed to you.
Well,
so, dedication, I would say, is the biggest thing.
Dedication. Well, I definitely agree with that, Rob. And what is your favorite tool that you use every single day?
Favorite tool?
Favorite tool, such as your iPhone, such as the podcasting app, such as your Kindle app, such as...
Oh, okay. Let's see. I would say that my laptop I use the most out of anything. I do everything. I would be out of touch with the world without my laptop. I do all my podcasting stuff off of it, all my schoolwork.
And where are you going to school, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm at North Shore Community College in Danvers, Massachusetts.
How cool is that? So, so you're one unit away from your associate's degree, and then you're going to work on your bachelor's degree.
Yes, I'm going to finish my my associates at the community college and then transfer to one of the local state colleges.
Well, how cool is that? And so, did you ever think you would be going back to school as a older college student?
I did not. My original plan was to finish up with the Coast Guard, but after 10 years, I got discharged for weight problems. I couldn't make the weight. So
So
Plan B
you
wound up being
could,
GI Bill.
you couldn't make the weight. Well, how, if you don't mind me prodding in there a little bit, how skinny do they want you to be?
I'm 5'9", like 5'9", 5'10", right around that area. They wanted me down to 185, and I just could not get below 190. I was there at I was close on the body fat, but
excuse me, they want you as skinny as a whale and as fit as a whale. Well, people can't do that because of their metabolism.
exactly. Everybody has different body types.
Metabolism.
I just look at it as, I think it's the easiest way for them to cut their budgets. Make the weight restrictions harder and harder.
yes. Make everything harder and harder. Then you,
why cut spending when we cut manpower?
GI Bill. Yeah. At least they gave you GI Bill and sent you on your merry way. But
I know, right?
I'm thinking they're cutting everything left, right, and center now because they just don't want to deal with it. I'm sorry, but we're dealing with the food when it comes to head of the U.S. I'm sorry for saying that. I know you guys know how I feel about that. And
I wholeheartedly agree.
My grandfather on both sides were one was in the World War II, the other one was in the Canadian Army at one point. And so I am Army black by family. So I understand what you guys have to go through as Army veterans. And that's who I deal with most of the time, physically and mentally disabled Army veterans. And did you come out of the Coast Guard scarred, or was it just your weight that got to you?
It was mostly just the weight issues. I would say the worst I got out of it was a few months of depression. Just that was my life. That was my life plan. I loved my job, and then I had nothing after that. So it worked out for the best, though.
Yep.
My wife and my son were both very ready to settle down and stop moving around.
Yes, because
so it's nice to homestead for a while.
That has its advantages because you guys all Army has to move every 2 months to different bases, don't they?
We were moving every 2 to 3 years, roughly.
Every 2 to 3 years. Wow.
Yep.
And how old is your son?
He's just about to turn 12.
So he spent most of his 11 years moving schools, moving lives, moving everything else. I wonder why he was so excited for Dad to get out of the Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah. I'm home a lot more. He loves it. We get to spend a lot more time together.
Yep. And so where can people find you, and where can the people find your podcast when it comes out?
The podcast, right now we're recording it on Thursday nights, so it's usually up by Friday afternoons on the Veracity Trigger channel on YouTube. And you can also find it on Twitter on @I'mTheZodiac. That's the Crow Show's Twitter page where you found me.
Yes.
And those are the only two places we have right now. There is a Facebook.
You're on Twitter?
Yeah, we also have a Facebook page if anybody wants to check that out. It's mostly just links to the shows because it never really took off.
No. I've quickly discovered that Facebook has changed their algorithm so much that Facebook to me is just another posting spot. Twitter gets more traction than Facebook on my end too, because Facebook changed their algorithms so many times.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Facebook did not work out at all for us, but Twitter has definitely been working very well. The only hurdle there was I was staunchly against Twitter since it came out
Oh,
until I started doing the podcast.
yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Now you have unhide yourself to get on social media and to get traction for the podcast. And before I let you go, Rob, I'm going to let you ask me 2 to 4 questions that you have been intrigued to ask me.
Sure thing. I'm definitely interested in the work that you do with veterans. I'm just wondering, I saw that you're a veterans advocate.
I am, and the work that I do with veterans, I actually do a program called Challenge Aspen, and one of our top programs, I ski with Challenge Aspen. I also do a little bit of acting with Challenge Aspen, but one of our top programs is Challenge Aspen Military Opportunities, and because it gets lumped under the auspices of Challenge Aspen, that program doesn't get talked about very much. So that's the veteran advocacy work I do, and I just applaud you guys for all the veterans for coming back home safe and coming back home and trying to adjust to civilian life.
That's outstanding. I do got to say I appreciate something that you do something like that. Because
Well, I
that
try.
transition from military to civilian life is very difficult.
Ugh. Yeah, yeah. As I said, my dad's dad went through that, and I unfortunately didn't get to meet my dad's dad, but my dad tells me, yep, that transition is extremely difficult. So I try and do what I can for those who have physical disabilities and mental disabilities, and I try and speak on behalf of Challenge Aspen Military Opportunities as much as I can.
Well, that's great. I love that you do that. That's so great. I'll go with some of your canned questions on there. As to what do you do in your free time, like outside of doing the podcast and advocating?
And advocating, and they'll do this all over again. No, I have a recumbent bike. Believe it or not, I am an exercise nut, and so I have a recumbent bike. So when it's not raining, like it's been here for the past week, I love to get on my bike and buy that. And then I go to alternative physical therapy. When I say alternative, I am the first woman in the country, we believe, to be walking in an exoskeleton with cerebral palsy, and that has just improved my life tremendously. And my fan base knows that by now. You can see Facebook videos of me walking in this exo and robot. And it's so funny you mentioned the Army, because how I got the advantage to walking in this robot is because it was partially funded by the U.S. Army. And so that's how we got it. And then a friend of mine who is paralyzed, Amanda Boxtel, crowdfunded her own robot and then decided that she couldn't use it anymore, but it was so expensive that she decided to start her own non-profit, the Bridging Bionics Foundation, and give the gift of mobility / robotics to us.
Wow, that is really cool.
So that's what I like to do outside of advocacy and do all that stuff.
Oh, it sounds like you're a very busy woman.
Well, I am, and I appreciate Bob, you coming on and sharing your story, and I wish you the best of success with your podcast and YouTube channel. And seriously, if people want to take me up on that offer I made to Bob or anyone listening, let me know and I'll help you. I mean, because starting a podcast is daunting, and I just want all these podcasts to succeed.
Yes, that's me as well. I might take
Yes.
you up on that. If I run into problems, I'll definitely message you.
Well, yeah, that would be wonderful because I want all these podcasts to succeed. And again, you guys, you just heard Bob's story on Butterflies of Wisdom. This podcast has actually been sponsored by Kitter, K-I-T-T-E-R, and what they do is you can either compose the tweet for yourself, or they can put a tweet together for you. But the cool thing is they put the trending hashtag with it, so you guys don't get lost in the heap. And I'm sorry, you guys, but it's not mobile yet. I'm working on that with the co-founder to figure out when the date of mobile Kidda is going to be. But I'm sorry, you just have to deal with it on your desktop. And so I appreciate Bob coming on, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to Butterflies of Wisdom. And just a programming note, I know a couple of people have said I won't come on your podcast because because I don't have a disability and I don't have anything to share. Well, what we're sharing is not only disability related, but stuff for people in general. So even if you don't have a disability, you still have an incredible story. And even though Bob may not have a quote-unquote disability, a lot of Army veterans do. So here's my PSA. Go support the VA hospitals. Go volunteer in the VA hospitals. They certainly need it. And Bob, I bet you can attest to that one, of how much they need volunteers and how much they need help.
Oh, yes, and also your local veteran service offices. A lot of the smaller metropolitan areas, like I live near Gloucester, Massachusetts. We have a veteran service office there that was imperative in getting me back on my feet. It's just it's all volunteer work that by ex-veterans, and my former servicemen, veterans, and they do a lot of great work. So if any veterans are listening that need help, look up your local VSO. Those guys are great.
And as I said, I'm going back to school on the Pell Grant, which is U.S. Department of Education, but the GI Bill looks too for veterans. So you guys can go back to school no matter how old you are and just make a living for yourself and don't feel sorry for yourself. And I think Bob can also agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Treading water and feeling sorry for yourself gets you nowhere. So you just got to pull yourself back up by your bootstraps.
Yep. I think that's a lovely way to end this episode. Treading water and feeling sorry for yourself doesn't get you anywhere, you guys. And please, please, please share this episode out and let the veterans listen to it. And if they need help, I can help them. Bob can help them. As we said, look up your veterans office, look up your VA hospitals all across the states, and let's try and make this world a better place. Thanks, you guys.
Sorry, are we still connected?